I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the main event of the Season 7 Duracell Next Gen Cup Series Clash Under the Lights at Slinger Speedway. It's been a wild weekend, some really good racing, whether it was in the heat qualifiers or in last night's qualifying heats, determining the 25 drivers taking part in tonight's main event. And now this is going to be the biggest field that we've had on the racetrack so far this weekend, and it should be a wild 90-lap event. I'm Seth Cole, and here tonight it's a chance for drivers to do one of two things. Either one, say that they are a winner in the clash here under the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series banner, but number two, maybe get a little bit of momentum going into next week where we start to accumulate points, we start to put some pressure on these drivers in terms of gaining playoff positions. Obviously, there's a new format this year with the top 10 in the point standings getting locked in, and then the 6 drivers outside the top 10 with the most victories, either inside the top 30 in points. A really unorthodox type of criteria to get into the playoffs, but I think it'll make things very, very interesting. Here tonight, who knows? A short track win at Slinger could translate into momentum going into pole day qualifying or even into the Great American Race Daytona 500 itself to get the season started off right. Now, if you didn't tune in last night, we ended up having 6 heat races. The top 4 in each heat race transferred here into the main event. One driver got in having the fastest lap turned of those that did not qualify in via the top 4. That was Kyler Sustry. So he will start shotgun on the field, but James Qualls, Nick Gunther, Jessica Shelton, Zach Rogers, Anthony McCurry, and Benjamin Miles, who are your top 6 here this evening on your starting lineup that you will see on the bottom right of your screen, they are starting up in the first 3 rows by virtue of being the heat winners, so they get really good starting track position here tonight, which will be interesting to see. Will track position really be that important? Because I know that there's 25 drivers here tonight, but if you go back to last night, Reese Banks, he was involved in an incident, I believe it was in the second heat race, got spun around, had to start dead last on the field, and was able to work his way up to finish in second place. Thus, he's starting up inside the top 10 here tonight. So there is the opportunity, since it is a rather lengthy race, 90 laps in total, there is the opportunity if you run into trouble early, provided you don't have a whole lot of damage, you can probably mount a recovery and come away with a decent finish here tonight, maybe even a victory. It depends on how many laps there are and how good your car is, but nothing seems to be outside the realm of possibility here tonight. There are a couple of former Clash winners in the field here this evening. They would be Matt McIntyre, who won the very first Clash back in Season 1. Michael Norman then followed it up with a victory in the Clash in Season 2. Both of those victories were at Daytona, as was Benny Watson's victory, which I believe was Season 5, if I recall correctly. No. That was actually Season 4. Season 4, when he took the Clash victory. That was the last time that we held the Clash at Daytona. The 2 most recent Clash winners did not advance into the main event in their heat races. In Season 5, it was Ryan Butcher, and last season, Season 6, it was Kyle Matthews. Those two events were held at Bowman Gray. The other driver that had a Clash victory that is not in the series here this season, back in Season 3, was William Brock. But the 88 that he put in victory lane in that Clash is in the field tonight with rookie Connor Breton behind the wheel, rolling off from the 19th position. So we'll see. Will we have one of our 3 former Clash winners go to victory lane for a second time in their Duracell Cup Series career? There are 22 other drivers in the field that say, "Nuh-uh, it's my turn to be able to get that checkered flag," and it'll be for the very first time at the Slinger Speedway. Enough talk, it's time to race. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Just like when we talked about the transporter. At the end of pit road, the last pit box is a timing line. So the last white line on pit exit is the line. 6 thumbs up, my friend. Have a good time.
Pace car makes the turn off onto pit lane on the exit of turn number 2. They'll make their way through 3 and 4. James Qualls Chevrolet, Nick Gunther's Mazda. Get ready to get us underway. 90 laps under the lights at Slinger Speedway. Qualls will lead lap 1. You hear the next-gen engines here. High RPMs turns. They carry about 90 miles per hour into the corner. Back it down to around 65 miles per hour. Jessica Shelton looking to put the pressure on James Qualls for the top spot. Anthony McCrory's Mazda moving into 3rd. Levi McIntyre into 4th place. Nick Gunther back to 5th as the caution's out for the first time here tonight at Slinger Speedway. Qualls able to hold off Shelton, and as we cycle through the field here, not certain who it was. There is some front-end damage on the 38 of Jose Mills, though that could have been running to the back of somebody here as they were woeing up under pacing. May have just been a harmless spin. I'm not seeing anybody on the telemetry that is on pit road, so let's go back, take a look at what happened. Maybe the 88 of Connor Breton. And it looks like he was involved, but he was not the start. They have started around the 44 of Reese Banks. Let's take a look. Nope, it was Jose Mills getting hooked off the 74 of rookie Casey Hoyt. There you saw Connor Breton and Keith Batson both got collected up in that as the 38 came back across the racetrack. We'll take another look at it here from the 39's point of view. It's a pretty good shot there to the front end of the Sitco Ford out of KB Racing Enterprises. You got to be worried about it maybe pushing in the radiator. Don't know how badly that's going to affect him for the remainder of the race. As of right now, doesn't look like Batson's retired. He's actually returning back onto the track as the green flag is back in the air. Going to have to be quick with these replays, with these cautions, and Batson actually returned back onto the track right in front of race leader James Qualls. There you see Batson going into 1, and Qualls going to go to the inside to make the pass. Batson's coming back to pit lane. Levi McIntyre makes the pass for 2nd place on Jessica Shelton. The Mazdas were duking it out for 4th. Nick Gunther gets the best of Anthony McCurry, and now almost gets in the left rear quarter panel of Jessica Shelton. Looks like he'll take that spot off of 4. Joshua Osborne right now in the 5th position. And there's Zach Rogers, winner of the 4th heat last night. Currently has the number 6 in P6. Good battling in the latter half of the top 10. Anthony McCurry, Jesse Turner, this is for 7th place. Turner's teammate, Reese Banks, right there in the 44, making a pass on Benjamin Miles. That would be for 9th. And now Banks wants more as he'll get to the inside of the Turkish Airlines Mazda of McCurry. 3 wide looking there into 3 and 4. Banks will clear both the 61 and the 47. Further up, got ourselves a lead change. Nick Gunther has gotten around James Qualls, and Shelton just bypassed for second, so Qualls will drift back to the third spot. Levi McIntyre and Joshua Osborne, this is for fourth. Give the spot to Levi, and now he'll go for more. Looks to get 2 Joanna Atwood Motorsports cars in 2 laps. Should clear here into 3 as he drives it in deep. Shelton trying to reel in Nick Gunther. 4-time winner last season was Gunther. Don't believe any of those wins came at a short track, though he does have a short track victory in his career. That was back in Season 4 when he got his first career win. Or correction, Season 5 I should say, at Bristol Dirt. And now Connor Breton, who we know got some damage from that initial caution. He's about to go a lap down to the 55, so obviously the damage slowing him down. And that'll be something Jessica Shelton will have to deal with here in a moment. She may have to look in the rearview mirror though too, because Reese Banks got around Levi McIntyre for third, and he's on the charge. That 44 was fast last night, as we mentioned. He spun out in the second heat race. Only had a handful of laps to be able to work his way up into a transfer spot, and transfer he did as he finished second place behind Nick Gunther, the guy that he's about to try and reel in. Gunther putting a couple more cars in his rearview mirror. That was Jose Mills in the 38. He got spun around by the 74 of Casey Hoyt. Bringing out the first yellow flag so far here tonight. Reese Banks going to have to try and deal with the 38. And now he's got Levi McIntyre putting the pressure on him. So the battle is on for second behind the lap machine. McIntyre not clear yet. This time I think he'll clear, and now he'll try to go to work on Jose Mills. These two former teammates, back when Levi McIntyre used to drive for Blue Oval Automotive in seasons 2 and 3, I believe it was. He completes the pass now. Nick Gunther trying to put as much distance as he can. Oh, we got a wreck right ahead of him on the front straightaway. Charles Sanford got turned around, facing the wrong way. Kyle Sustre was slow as well, and Keith Batson in the 39. Sanford's on pit road as the pace car is boogieing to get up here and catch the race leader. So caution's out for the second time here tonight. And that is not what Nick Gunther wanted to see, especially with the fact that he was nearly caught up in that wreck. Trying to get everything sorted here with the cars that were on the tail end of the lead lap. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Charles Sanford. Wonder if maybe the slow machine of Keith Batson, he's been on pit road and off pit road a couple of times here, and I wonder if maybe he merged at the wrong point right in front of the 03. No, had nothing to do with that. Now let's focus on the 03, see if he can show us what happened. Oh, Matt Haas in the 8 up ahead had problems apparently. And Charles Sanford meets him off of turn number 4. All right, let's drop back and see if we can find out what happened with the 8. He was loose off of turn 2 on that same lap, and let's see here. To the inside of Cody Lamas. Oh, just got loose under him. Yeah. Tried to stay off of Cody Lamas, spins out, and nowhere for Charles Sanford to go, so that's pretty extensive damage there on the 03. That might be Charles Sanford's evening done. And now we're going to have some lap machines that are going to be in between Nick Gunther and Levi McIntyre. Kyler Sustre is going to be between the 55 and the 99. You got the lap car of the 38 of Jose Mills separating McIntyre from Reese Banks as we're getting ready to go back green. Single file restarts here tonight with the lap cars integrated with the lead lap cars. We will have double file restarts starting next week at Daytona in the 500 and subsequent following races. Also going to have some green-white checkers this season. A lot of new stuff in Season 7 of the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. As Levi McIntyre trying to make quick work of Kyler Sustre. He'll complete the pass. And now sets his sights on Nick Gunther. Not yet halfway here tonight. Under the lights at Slinger. Benjamin Miles has worked his way up to third place. Got around James Qualls. Now he's got to get around the 4, that lap machine. Qualls right now in the 4th position. Shelton trying to march back to the front. She'll take 5th away from Reese Banks. Carson Gum now up into the 7th spot, and Matt McIntyre right there, who won the inaugural Clash back in Season 1 at Daytona. He's got his number 21 up inside the top 10, currently in the 8th position. Just look at how loose these cars are off the exit of 2 and 4, as McIntyre now drives to the inside of Carson Gum. That's for 7th. Looks for another one, looks for 6th on Reese Banks. Couldn't get the power down through the center, but gets it on the corner exit. And I think he'll complete that pass here. Now he'll have the lap car of Jose Mills to deal with. Jessica Shelton's already cleared him. Now looking for James Qualls' 4th position. Further up, Benjamin Miles. He just got around Levi McIntyre. Moved the Napa Chevrolet up to P2. Oh, we got a wreck up here. Nick Gunther moving low, and caution is indeed out. Pace car goes flying by again. Who was this one for? Was it Matt Haas again in the 8s? Let's find out. Just past lap 40, and no, it was not. The 8 car happened up ahead of him. Looks like maybe Michael Norman in the 22? Nope, it was Quentin Moore in the 89, as well as Jesse Turner in the 47. And Anthony McCurry in the 61. This was just outside the top 10. McCurry was trying to get off of Keith Batson, and then he slides up into the 39. Quentin Moore gets spun down to the inside and slides back up in front of Jesse Turner. Take a look at this hit that McCurry and Batson both take going up into the corner. This was up into 1. Broadsides. The 39 does Anthony McCurry. Joshua Osborne got held up by that, as did Benny Watson, Cody Lamas, and a couple of others. So they lost some track position because of having to woe up for that wreck. But 3rd caution of the evening here. Short trap. Bring about short tempers and a lot of beating and banging. Saw in last night's Clash qualifying heats, we saw some tempers flaring between Dylan Young and Austin LaPlante, and neither one advanced into this main event. So wonder if those fireworks will continue at some other point later on in the season. Should be getting the 1 to green signal, I think, here. Pace laps are very short at Slinger Speedway. Nick Gunther, Benjamin Miles, Levi McIntyre, James Qualls, Jessica Shelton. That's your top 5, with Matt McIntyre, Reese Banks, Carson Gum, Mike Tellier up in 9th, and Casey Hoyt, the rookie, holding down the 10th position. Into the restart zone we go. Lap 48 will go on the board. We are now past the halfway point here tonight, and Nick Gunther's Mazda gets us back underway. Nick has led the last 35 laps. James Qualls the only other driver. The pole sitter that's led laps this evening. 12 turns out in front as Miles gets the wall there. That's the lap car of Kyler Sustre trying to get his lap back the hard way. Get up there and get around Nick Gunther. Opens up the door for 2nd place battle. Levi McIntyre, Benjamin Miles, and then Matt McIntyre further back in the 4th spot, trying to close in on this along with Reese Banks. 3 drivers out of the race after the last 2 cautions that we've had. Is contact there between McIntyre and Banks. Charles Sanford, the defending champion of the series, will DNF tonight in 25th. And then the most recent caution takes out Anthony McCurry and Keith Batson. So 22 drivers still running, 19 on the lead lap at this point in time. McIntyre really loose right there as he's trying to get around Kyler Sustre. Sustre right now the best friend of Nick Gunther because 2nd place is not able to clear the lap machine. Now McIntyre will clear, but there's over a second and 2/10 between him and Nick Gunther. Now Levi McIntyre's got to lay down some lightning fast lap times to reel in the Mazda. Mazda was really strong last night with both Nick Gunther and Anthony McCurry. They both went on to win their subsequent heats. Obviously not the finish that Anthony was looking for, as he's going to get credit with 23rd DNF here tonight, but Gunther trying to continue on the momentum for Mazda. And as I mentioned, last year, not only picked up 4 victories with Nick Gunther in points paying races, but 2 victories with Zach Rogers in the showcase races at both the Charlotte Roval and Homestead. Matt Haas got put a lap down by Nick Gunther. Reese Banks will make quick work of him as well. Now Gunther going to work on Connor Breton to put him a second lap down. Reese Banks is within closing distance. He can see the race leader. You want to hear what the next-gen car sounds like making its way around a short track like Slinger? Let's go on board with the Mimnik U787B Mazda of Nick Gunther. You see the tack revving out there as the pressure is on Reese Banks, who got his first career win last year late in the season at Talladega Superspeedway. Well, gonna have to wait. Caution's out. I was gonna say, he was making good strides there on Nick Gunther, but caution's out. Back of the field stacked up quite a bit. Carson Gum is smoking there on the bottom of the racetrack, and he very well could be the reason for this yellow flag. Let's go back and see if we can find out. Our race leaders were nearly caught up in a wreck there, slowing up with the tail end of the field in front of them. And yes, this was indeed Carson Gum, but it did not start with him. It starts actually with Jessica Shelton, that Project Dodge Intrepid out of S3 Motorsports, who started third place here tonight. Let's take a look and see what happens to her. Might be trying to make a pass here on Matt Haas. Yep, to make a little contact. Back down the track in front of Carson Gum. Nowhere for him to be able to go. And there you see the race leaders coming into the vicinity there. Nick Gunther almost into the back of Zach Rogers and Casey Hoyt. They're saying Cody Lamas is taking his car back behind the wall. Let's see if we can find out what the reasoning for that would have been. Did he maybe get a bit of the 19 here? Oh, yes he did. Got him with the left front. Not exactly sure what important part of the race car is housed in there that could potentially have ended his night, but yeah, he has actually gone back behind the wall, and he and Carson Gum will finish respectively in 21st and 22nd. So we're going to go green with less than 20 to go. Lap 70 going to go on the board here as Nick Gunther crosses the start-finish line. He's led 57 laps so far here tonight. One of two drivers that have been out in front. Reese Banks trying to change that and become the third, and his lap times last 5-6 laps prior to that caution were the fastest on the track. He was closing in on Gunther, who will be the control car here. Green flag back in the air. Reese Banks, can he put the pressure back on the 55? Levi McIntyre right there with him. Benjamin Miles and Matt McIntyre were the top 5 going back green. Mike Tellier up in 6th. Benny Watson and Michael Norman, couple of former Clash winners in 8th and 9th, or make that 7th and 8th. Jessica Shelton, who had the spin, restarted in 9th, didn't come to pit road, didn't repair damage. We'll see if she can salvage a top 10 still. As looks like one driver might have jumped the start, and I believe that was the 74 of Casey Hoyt as the caution's out again. Showing the 74 with a black flag, and you just saw Jesse Turner coming off of pit lane. Not sure what this yellow flag was for. Well, let's see if we can figure it out. So many candidates here towards the rear of the field, sporting some damage. Maybe James Qualls, I saw, had some rear end damage. Oh, nope, I believe it might have been the 4 of Kyler Sustre. And this was a very tight situation off of turn number 4. He's to the inside of Connor Breton, has to lift. Matt McIntyre keeps his foot in the throttle and drifts the Yamaha Chevrolet Camaro around. Nobody hits him. Solo car spin, and caution flies for the 5th time tonight. So with that yellow flag coming out, that's bad news for Casey Hoyt, because he has to serve the pass-through penalty for I'm assuming maybe jumping the restart or something. We're just being told he received a black flag, no reasoning given. But he's got to wait until the green flag comes back out to serve that penalty under green flag conditions. Jesse Turner, not certain what the extended stay on pit road for him was, but he is now 3 laps down. Last car running in 20th place. Green flag going to fly yet again. Levi McIntyre got the second spot from Reese Banks under that last stint. So now he is the hunter for Nick Gunther. And Benjamin Miles, highest running Chevrolet, he'll make the pass on a very loose Reese Banks off of turn number 4. For Casey Hoyt, you're going to want to serve that penalty sooner rather than later. We saw last night Austin LaPlante was issued a black flag penalty, did not serve it, and was disqualified. As Benjamin Miles now moves into the second spot, McIntyre puts the pressure back on him. Nick Gunther loving this. He, outside of Reese Banks closing in on him about 20 laps ago, has not really received a challenge. There is Casey Hoyt. No, Jesse Turner's back on pit road in the 47. I don't think the 74 has yet served his penalty. Nope, they're saying he actually did. All right, so now he's going to get up and out of the way. Now now I think he's actually serving his penalty. As McIntyre back up to second, Reese Banks in third. And these two set aside their differences to focus on getting up to Nick Gunther. He's going to have 6 laps to go this next time by. Nope, they're still duking it out. And big time slide by Levi McIntyre. Reese Banks back to second. Now can he get back into a rhythm and close in on Nick Gunther like he was able to do earlier on? Let's see. Time's running out. 5 to go. Nick Gunther started this race from the outside the front row. So far has led 72 of our 85 completed laps. And now hits 4 laps to go. Banks is clear of McIntyre, and he can see the race leader. Lap time, a little bit quicker for Nick Gunther. About 6/100ths quicker last time by. Let's see about this time by. Reese Banks, 0.2 quicker. Gunther ran a 10.8. Banks ran a 10.6. Does he have enough time, though? 2 laps to go. He doesn't want to see a caution because that would end the race. Traffic up ahead for Nick Gunther. That time, much faster lap time for Gunther. Banks might have had an issue. White flag in the air. Nick Gunther looking to get the season started off right. 4 victories last year, looking for the first checkered flag here of season 7. He's going to get it. The clash at Slinger belongs to Nick Gunther. Reese Banks going to get second. Third place for Benjamin Miles. Then the McIntyres, Levi and Matt, will finish 4th and 5th. I think the race ended under yellow. I think they wrecked on the final lap, but it had no bearing on Nick Gunther winning this race. They're all stacked up there on the banking of 3 and 4. But Nick Gunther going to get to do the first burnout of season 7. Making a statement that Mazda last year, the victories that Gunther was able to get, they weren't flukes. And he'll be pulling it into victory lane as the standings should be official. What a race here tonight. From Slinger, Nick Gunther with the win, Banks second, Miles in third. You look at some of these drivers like Banks and Miles, really struggled last year. Banks, of course, got that victory late in the season, but both these drivers struggled overall, and this could be the turning of the tide. They could have a really good season 7 because of what happened here tonight. Levi McIntyre there in 4th, and the highest finishing former winner of the Clash, Matt McIntyre. Great job there in 5th in his return to the series. How about Mike Tellier, the non-charter entry out of Bishop Family Racing? Bringing it home in the 6th position. Mike started this race from 24th. That is next to last. Great job by him here tonight. He'll be looking to qualify into the Great American Race at Daytona 500 next weekend. Quentin Moore, good run there in his second full-time season in 7th. Benny Watson, non-charter entry out of Haas Racing, gets 8th. Zach Rogers brings it home in 9th. And Destin Bolin will complete the top 10. 14 drivers finished on the lead lap with Michael Norman, Jessica Shelton, James Qualls, and Joshua Osborne completing those. Kyler Sustre, who started shotgun on the field. First car 1 lap down in 15th. Jose Mills and Matt Haas 1 lap down apiece in 16th and 17th. 2 laps down for Connor Breton. Jesse Turner was on and off pit road in the second half of this race, finishes 10 laps down in 19th place. Casey Hoyt apparently did not heed the black flag. He did it too late. He was disqualified, finishes in 20th. And then drivers that did not reach the conclusion, Cody Lamas, Carson Gum, Anthony McCurry, Keith Batson, and the defending champion, Charles Sanford. So the good news, though, for those drivers that struggled here tonight, non-points event, no playoff situation on the line. This was all in fun, all for bragging rights, and to try and get that first checkered flag of Season 7. It goes to Nick Gunther. The real work begins next week when we head to the high banks of the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. We kick things off with pole day qualifying. That's going to be on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, it is the Great American Race Daytona 500 to kick off officially Season 7 of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Hope you guys will join us for that. Thanks for joining us here tonight under the lights at Slinger Speedway. I think this track will be back for the Clash in Season 8, no doubt about it. Unbelievable racing all the way through the field, and congratulations to Nick Gunther on a big, big win. If you enjoyed tonight's race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. If you're on your phone, be sure to hit that bell to turn on notifications to be notified when these broadcasts take place each and every point of the season. Until next week at Daytona, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA, Outflying Racing at its best.